Hey guys, TKC here, TheKaijudoChannel. Welcome to another episode of Kaijudo News. And this week has been filled to the brim with awesome Kaijudo news. So I'm going to try my best to condense all that news into just this one video into maybe like 10 minutes. But it'll be really tough. So if I go over 10 minutes, I'm really sorry. But let's get straight to the news. And we're going to start with card previews because those are the best things to talk about. So we're going to talk about the card preview that was previewed on the site, of course. And that card is so awesome. It is the Swarm Leader. Bzzz. So, Mega Bugs gets some cool evolution, and it's at the uncommon slot, which is really awesome. So, it's a level 5, 6,000 plus power Mega Bug evolution. It's a double breaker. It has the ability Hive Charge. While attacking, this creature gets plus 2,000 power for each other creature you have in the battle zone. So, this card fits perfectly in a Mega Bug-centric deck, considering many of the Mega Bugs are very cheap in cost, like Ambush Scorpion, and Sniper Mosquito, and Snap Claw, I guess. There's quite a handful of Mega Bugs, but there's also the big expensive ones like Lepidos and Deathblade Beetle, so, Mega Bugs are kind of all over the place. So this card kind of fits in a Rush deck, because it's a level 5 double breaker, but then again, Fire has the level 3 double breaker and Laser Arm Dracon. So this is not the most impressive thing ever, but this card could go up to way more than 10,000 power and could even go head-to-head with Flamespike Tatsurion. But that would be pretty tough to do, considering you're going to have at least, I think, 4 other creatures to tie it and then 5 others to beat it. So I don't know what to say. It just looks neat. It's a Mega Bug evolution. It's just nice that they have one, but I still think they need a bit more for them to be competitive. So yeah, there definitely needs to be some more Mega Bug support. Please, Wizards of the Coast, please make some more Mega Bug cards. Now, these next two previews just came out of nowhere. So I think most of us were expecting to see the Nature Very Rare on Facebook today, but that was totally not the case, as we got 2 multi-civ cards. 2 of the very first multi-civ cards we have ever seen confirmed, and they're not going to be in Dragon Strike Avernus, of course, and they're not going to be in the next set, which is the first set of Season 2, but it's going to be the next set of Duel Day promos, as it appears. So I'm going to show off these 2 cards right now. The first one is Saracon Storm Dynamo. So this card is a level 8, 7,500 Skyforce Champion / Trench Hunter. That is probably one of the silliest combinations I've ever seen, but that's awesome. It's got Blocker, it's got Double Breaker, and it has Distress Beacon. When this creature is banished, draw up to 3 cards. So the way I see this card, it's kind of like a Grandeur that can double break and then gets you 3 cards when you chump block with it. So I don't know, this card's very interesting. Just the draw 3 is pretty neat. You could play this turn 8th to, trade with whatever big creature they have. This card has a lot of power in itself, so the main creatures in the current format, like Sabretooth and Bolttail and stuff like that, they can't even get over this. So they're going to need to look for cards that are even more powerful than that, and that's where the dragons come from in Dragon Strike Infernus, and that's where you draw cards. So I don't know, very interesting card. And the next card that they previewed is Gribble Oaths the Gatherer, a Water Darkness level 7, 7,000 power Aquin / Tarborg. That's another race in Darkness that needs some love. Tarborgs, man, fumes, and now this card. So Gribble Oaths the Gatherer does 2 things. It has Double Breaker, and it has Spell Scrounge. When this creature enters the battle zone, each player puts the top card of his or her deck into his or her discard pile. For each spell put into the discard pile this way, you may draw a card. I honestly don't know what to say about this card, but it's decent, I guess. Level 7, 7,000 Double Breaker is already pretty okay in itself, but, Zagon could do that at level 6. And then this card has some kind of luck effect to it, where you're hoping that you each mill a spell and then you draw 2. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about this, because I would say that creatures are played a lot more than spells in decks, unless you're going against control, and control decks tend to use a lot more spells. So if you're going against a fellow control deck, you are looking pretty good, because you have a lot higher of a chance to draw cards, because spells will be put into this card pile. But I don't think this is the case. I think creatures are going to be a lot more popular than spells in this game, so I don't really see this card being too useful, but the potential is there. The potential to draw 2 and have a double breaker with a 7,000 power body is definitely nothing to laugh at. So, this could definitely be good in the future. Now, I'd just like to point out that these 2 cards have a lot of interesting things going on in the card. So, of course, we get to see what the card design could potentially look like. Of course, this is probably not a final draft, because as you can see in Gribble Oaths and even the other card, the double breaker doesn't have the reminder text on it, and so this is just kind of like a rough draft kind of thing, because it probably will be there on the official card. And then also on the bottom, it has year 2 promo instead of year 1. So this kind of shows that this will be coming out in Kaijudo's 2nd year. And so when Kaijudo started, it was in June, at the very end of June. So it only kind of leads me to believe that these cards are going to be in Duel Days, of course, because it says Duel Day in the back of the effect. But it's not going to happen until, I guess, the 3rd season of Duel Days, or maybe even the 2nd. Who knows? So if anything, it's going to be in June. It could potentially be at the beginning of June. It could be at the end of June or after June. Who knows? But I don't think this is going to be coming out in May, but I could be totally wrong on that. So we'll just have to see what Kaijudo does, and we'll get these cards whenever we get them. So speaking of multi-civ cards, these were confirmed a while back by Ryan Miller on the official website, talking about multi-civ cards and how it's going to be the main focus in the 2nd season of Kaijudo, which is basically going to be 4 sets. It's going to be just like the 3rd set, the Rise of the Duel Masters base set, except that was a 180 card set. Now they're going to be going back down to a 120 card set, which is going to be a lot easier for us to get the cards we want, instead of having to dig and pray to get the cards we want in a 180 card set. So that's always great. So the article on the website confirmed both the name of the first set of the 2nd season and the release date. So the name of the set is Clash of the Duel Masters, and bam, there's the pack right there, and you see Infernus and Tritonus duking it out on the pack. So considering the first base set was Rise of the Duel Masters and this base set is Clash of the Duel Masters, I guess it's safe to say that every base set is going to have of the Duel Masters in it, but just insert some really cool word at the front of it. So what's really interesting about this set is that it's coming out on May 24th, which is in the middle of the KMC season, which is going to be going on from, I believe, May 5th to June 30th. I may have gotten the dates wrong there, but it's early May to end of June. And so it's kind of neat, because for the first few weeks, we're still going to be playing with the Dragon Strike Infernus cards, and then eventually we're going to get this set, and then bam, multi-civ cards, and all of a sudden, the next week, we're allowed to use that, because they confirmed that once a set gets released, you are allowed to use it in the tournament, and then we have to just kind of like adapt really quickly and just make this really awesome deck for the next week, and then the next week, and then the next week, and then eventually we'll find out what are the best decks of that format. So I just think that's really cool. It kind of just spruces things up. It kind of just changes the meta in an instant, if you will. So that's always really sweet. I can't wait for that. Now, just like the Rise of the Duel Masters set, this is also going to be coming along with 2 40-card competitive decks. The first one being Psychic Assault, which features Finbar on a surfboard. Aqua Surfer, anyone? I sure hope so. And also, the other deck is Sky Crusher's Might. So Lord Sky Crusher is going to be getting some love. I don't think they're going to be sticking the super rare from Dojo in there, but there's a high chance of Sky Crusher's Elite from Rise of the Duel Masters popping up in there, so that's going to be pretty cool. Woo! That is already a lot of news, but there is still more to come. So the next thing that was, I think, kind of under the radar and kind of hidden on this site was an actual official document of the tournament rules for Kaijudo, which is awesome. So we got this document that contains a lot of interesting information in it, and I'm not going to be talking about the details just now. I think I'm going to be saving it for another video to talk about all the cool things we kind of learned from this tournament document, but I'll be leaving a link in the description so you can check it out yourself. It's quite a long document, but there's a lot of interesting things in there. I'm going to be talking about that in a future video, don't worry, but it's going to be really cool, and there's some things that change from our original normal play, and then there's a lot of new things that you have to know of when you compete in tournaments. So, next week, Dragon Strike Infernus set premiere. Get ready for that. That's going to be March 16th for the most part for a lot of people. It's going to be next weekend, not the weekend coming up, but the weekend coming up after that. where you could get your chance to get a Thorn Dragon and a Cybersphere Dragon and just meet new players and get more players into the game. Now, if you want to know like all the details about it and just all the nitty-gritty about it, you can go and watch DenverKaijudo's video in the description. Preston has got the kit, and I think a lot of other stores have gotten their kits as well, and Preston kind of dives in and shows you everything there is to the set premiere and what you get in the kit. So definitely go check that out. Awesome video. Thanks a lot, Preston. And the very last thing that they previewed on the site, yes, there is more. I can't believe there's more, but there is more. Kaijudo Online, the game, is going to have PvP starting next week. Yes, you will be able to go against your friends online in that game, but unfortunately, you are only going to be able to use the decks that you unlocked in the Kaijudo Online game. You won't be able to customize your deck, sadly, but I guess that's not a huge problem right now. You know, they just kind of are working out the kinks in the game, and maybe at some point we will be getting actual player versus player play where we actually make our own decks. But that is probably something that's not really on their minds right now, and it's going to be way into the future. Who knows what's going to be happening, but that would be really awesome. So, all those code cards that you got, you should be using them if you haven't, because then you could kind of make the decks over there a lot better, because you unlock cards with your code cards to make the decks better. And also, if you go through the missions on the game, you also unlock more cards as you go on. So this kind of gives you guys incentive to play the online game, because then you'll be able to get the best cards in your deck, and then you'll be able to play people online. So, with all that said and done, that is pretty much it for this week's Kaijudo news. That was just a huge amount of news, and I'm happy to have covered it all in one video. So one thing before I go, this is going to be a comment question of this week's video. Post your Kaijudo Online username. I'm doing this so that if I already have you on Kaijudo Online, I'll be able to know who you are, because it's kind of hard to tell who you are just through these weird custom usernames. And if you haven't added me, then here's your chance to add me now, and then I'll know who you are, who added me. My username on Kaijudo Online is TechnoMax222, so go ahead and add me there. I will be anxious to see all those friend requests on Kaijudo Online. The last time I checked, once I saw this news, I think I had to accept at least 30 friend requests, so that was something. Hopefully there isn't a limit on friends on Kaijudo Online. That would suck. I really don't want to remove friends on the list just to add other friends, so please don't have a friend limit. So go ahead and add me on TechnoMax222. I'll be accepting pretty much everyone. I don't see why I would decline. So yeah, feel free to add me, and get dueling on Kaijudo Online if you want to get the best decks possible to duel against your friends, or maybe even me. This is TKC, the Kaijudo Channel, signing off with this really long episode of Kaijudo News. And guys, enjoy all this news and have a great day. See you later, guys.